Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Talking About Birds, the only Cardinal podcast that, like John Mozeliak, is very effective at doing the bare minimum. My name is Nate Heininger, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Ben Samorka.
What up, Nate? Swish.
If you have an idea for the opening bit, text or leave us a voicemail at 848-48-BIRDS. Hambone, how you doing? We're back, baby.
Wow. It's great to be back. It's great to be alive. It's great to be in the mixing it up with my dog. Woof.
Yep.
Getting treats.
Yep.
Getting pup cups.
Woof, woof.
Going out for walks.
Both of us famously dog people.
Oh, yeah.
Have not ever personally owned a dog.
That's not true.
Well, I had a family dog,
Named Kramer. It was a scruffy dog.
I've had.
Oh, and Shaq.
Yes, Shaquille O'Neal the dog.
I remember Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, but we just called her Shaq. I had Shaq and Kramer were my dogs as a kid. You had Lemon?
Maximilian.
It was yellow.
Lemon. It was a golden retriever, so Ben probably just called it yellow dog.
Yellow dog, yeah.
Dumbass.
Yeah.
Now kids out here, they got what do they got, Nate? They got axolotls. Have you seen this? Have you read about this? Have you seen this?
I as a father of two children, I've got no less than 8 axolotl stuffies and axolotl items here in my house. We were actually talking about that with had some family in town too, where we were talking about what animals were big when you were a kid, like poison dart frogs were big in the 90s, you know what I mean?
Sure, I
that
guess,
sort of thing.
Yeah. Lisa Frank, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And axolotls, so hot right now.
We have an axolotl in the family. My brother-in-law has an axolotl in-house. Its name is Coolio, and he's pretty chill.
I mean, with a name like that, I would expect nothing less. But we're cat folk, you and I. Isn't that right?
It's true. It's true.
Well, over the weekend, Hambone, you and I, we smoked 33 pounds of chicken, which turned out to be...
Some people were saying it was too much.
Well, maybe about 20 pounds too much, if we're being honest.
I think so, really? That much?
I took home a ton of leftovers, handed out a ton of leftovers. We still have some, but there are worse things than that. We played some far ball, which is simply throwing a ball far, which was fun.
Yep.
In the water. Overall, successful weekend, I would say. And we're both alive to continue podcasting, which is what's important. Don't you think?
It's the only thing that matters at this point, Nate. You look at the news, you look what's going on with society. And this is all we got at this point is two losers chatting at each other.
Yeah, and what more do you need? We love it, don't we, folks?
Oh, wow.
Well, Hambone, it's a pack show. Is it not?
It actually is, Nate. This show is busting.
This show is busting, though not necessarily with a lot of exciting Cardinal news, but we got a lot to talk about regardless. We were fresh on the other side of the trade deadline. Thanks again to Jake last week for being a part of the show and sort of being our man on the beat as the episode was recording, as we went to almost
man on the tweet.
Man on the tweet.
Was that good?
We call him man on the toots. What are they called now?
Are you talking about posting on X?
Oh yeah, the Everything website. Yes.
Yep.
He was a man on the Everything website for us, and ultimately it was an eventful trade deadline for the St. Louis Cardinals. But ultimately, while I'm happy with what we did get, out of what we traded. Ultimately, I found it to be a pretty disappointing trade deadline, which we'll break down the trades. And we've had a week now since that fateful day. But how are you feeling now about the trade deadline with some time in the past or some time to reflect?
I mean, the trade deadline at large, it was exciting.
Sure.
It's one of the more exciting trade deadlines in recent memory.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
From a Cardinals point of view, like you and I talked about this a few times over the weekend, they did what they absolutely had to do and nothing more, which is really disappointing. I think a lot of people are saying that Mo did a good job setting the team up for the future. And I think that maybe that's a little bit true. We got a couple of names that we can talk about that are exciting to not disappointing. No one really bumping in your top 10 prospect list or anything like that, or I don't really see anyone changing the org here, which is, it's hard to do that anyways. I'm not expecting that, but it seemed like the way that I felt after this trade deadline is kind of more of what I was feeling before. Like, why is Mo here doing that job when he was seemingly not really empowered to make the type of trade / changes that we needed to be made at this time in the Cardinals competitive window? It seemed like some of the things that he was saying after the trade deadline is I wanted to set up Bloom so that he was ready to go and this, that, and the other. And it seems kind of alluding to why you didn't trade Bar, why you didn't trade Donnie or Burley or Gormy or whoever made sense. Now, that being said, could have been just bad trades out there. Right. But I do think that there would still be some value in just diversifying the group that we had. And I say all those lefties together because they all kind of are slopped together in a big old pile of lefty bat soup, So, yeah, I'd say overall it was fine. If I had to grade him, I don't know, Nate, a B-, a C+.
Yeah,
he could have done worse.
Could have done worse. Could have not traded those guys, or the returns could have been heralded as a laughing stock, so to speak. And you touch on a couple points that I do think are important to note, which is one, unfortunately, we will likely never know what was coming across Mozeliak's desk and what he was, really pursuing. The reality is that outside of Brendan Donovan, everybody that we kind of think could or should be traded, they're flawed pieces, right? There's a reason why we have a perspective of well, let's maybe get them out of the way and try something new, right? They weren't necessarily trying to trade immediate plug into contender teams that have a significant impact. I know you can argue Alec Burleson, but a positionless, platoon slugger is not the most appealing trade candidate to every team. But Brendan Donovan probably could have fit everywhere. But as we talked about last week, it didn't really make sense to trade him unless you got a baller offer. So we really don't know what Mozeliak received, what he pursued, if he dug in on any of these guys, or if he just got a bunch of shitty, little half offers and just said whatever. And we just have to, take his word at it that there was nothing that was worth doing. But on your other point, it's been this strange thing all year where Mozeliak talks like Chaim Bloom isn't there in the room, an equal part, or at least a significant part of the decision-making team right now. He's like, I wanted to make a clean slate for Bloom next year and all this stuff. And it's like, well, he's there right now. Wouldn't he be incentivized to not wait until the offseason or next year to start improving this team? But I would expect him to be right there right now, being a part in every single one of these decisions, if not all of them. I mean, what is Mozeliak really doing at this point when we know they're not making the playoffs? We know that his tenure is over. I guess I don't understand it, but it is what it is at this point. It's done,
No teams, I can't think of a professional sports team ever handling it like this. Maybe there's an example in some sport somewhere, but it's bizarre to have two heads of the monster, two captains of the ship at the same time. Nobody does this because it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
And we know that Chaim Bloom is taking over. Why Yeah, why was it handled this way? Is it just a branding thing and we're being lied to a little bit? How is this actually going down?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a little fishy to me.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you really want to be like a little Sherlock Holmes here. Like, one of the trades was for a very specific player from the Boston Red Sox player pool that Chaim Bloom was the one who drafted, right? So what are the odds that came up naturally from Mozeliak alone, right?
I will say, if the St. Louis Cardinals are making a trade with the Boston Red Sox and looking at their minor leagues and not consulting Chaim Bloom,
yeah,
then you're stupid.
Well,
like, that's just,
of course. But
that's just.
I just wonder what the providence of that trade was, right? Was it Bloom saying we need to go get my boy Blaze, or was it like, the Red Sox were like, hey, how about Blaze, and so on and so forth?
Or do you think he was more like, dude,
yeah,
get my boy Blaze,
put him with Mason, Blaze, win, and we're blazing. Yeah. Are we gonna be? Are we gonna be doing that? Are we doing Blaze jokes?
I don't like it. I will say I don't like it. I don't think it's good.
I don't like it either.
Yeah. So no.
But I mean, we also low hanging.
But also Blaze at 420 for life. Yeah.
Low hanging fruit is our daily diet. So I don't know. We might be doing this repeatedly. So I don't know. I like, you already said it, but like, this was a fine trade deadline. We'll see. They probably got some interesting pieces. I mean, at the end of the day, they traded 3 rental relievers. So like, you were handicapped from a big return from the very beginning. This was with that being what they were selling. This was never going to be a like incredible trade deadline that reshapes the farm system. But let's get into the trades that happened. I mean, we had the Matz one that came about while we were recording. We'd already discussed the Helsley one. I guess the one that we didn't get till the next day was Phil Maton being traded to the Texas Rangers. He seemingly is their closer, as the Rangers are going for it. So good for him. It's only going to elevate him, and if he does well for them, he's probably on his way to a big payday. And the Cardinals receive Mason Molina. No relation, but you love to have a Molina in the org. And Skylar Hales. Hambo, do you have what's the scouting report? What have you found on these two guys?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much to talk about with Mason Molina other than he's a large, thick man, which I love about him, and he strikes people out a lot. He's a little old for high A, but that's okay. He's 21 years old. He's 6'3", 220, and he has really high strikeout numbers. Every other number is kind of whatever. But he's getting a lot of strikeouts in A ball for Texas, over 46 and 2/3 innings. He had 62 strikeouts against only 16 walks. That's very good. Again, he's a little bit old. He was a college pitcher. He's developing a little bit slowly, but he's a big boy, and he gets a lot of strikeouts. So I think that's something to be very excited about. And just bringing in more strikeouts into the organization is a good idea. Skylar Hales, a little bit different story. He is tall. He is lean. He is a fighting machine. He has made it to AAA. But what I think is exciting about him is that this year for Texas's AA team in Frisco, he had 25 and 2/3 innings pitched and 32 strikeouts. So again, averaging over 1 strikeout per 9. He only walked over that same time 8 people. Once he got bumped up to AAA, he got knocked around a little bit. He seemed to lose his command a little bit, but it was only in I'm looking. It was only in 7 innings. He actually didn't even start a game. So we really don't know what we're getting, but we do know that he was performing quite well at Double-A. He's big and tall, and he strikes people out. So I'm fine. I think that we say all the time there's no real such thing as a pitching prospect. So you should just get guys in that seem to have stuff or can strike people out, and maybe Skylar Hales will stay healthy and continue to develop. And the Cardinals farm system, as much as we've criticized them in the past, they have shown an ability to get a guy a couple miles per hour on their fastball. Maybe we can find a little more velo. Maybe Skylar Hales can become a guy. Maybe he won't. Probably he'll have an arm injury or something like that. But something good could come from either of these guys.
Maybe we need to get him into Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. What do you think about that?
Yeah, what would that do?
I think that would help.
What would that do?
Eggman? Get Eggman in there? I don't know. He might have some big old contraption.
Were you just playing this game and you wanted to ham fist that reference into this conversation?
You said he's lean, he's mean, he's a fighting machine, and
you thought of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
Sort of it was a reskinned Puyo Puyo for Sega back in the day.
Okay.
It's good.
Well.
Yeah, the Cardinals, we've said it before. We've been talking about it for a while now. Like, one of the things that the Cardinals do well at, and seemingly have done well for a while now, is develop relief pitching. It suited them in this trade deadline that they had, 3 pitchers that they were able to trade. I know you could argue that they developed Matz and Maton or not, I don't know, but they at least used them very, very effectively this year. And when Matz was healthy, he was good. And then Helsley obviously is who he is. So I think we've talked about this approach for a while now. Just stack these guys. I'm glad to see that the Cardinals, this is now we see there's enough now to call this a trend. The Cardinals are clearly, finally targeting high strikeout guys everywhere they can, right? Whether it's the draft, whether it's these trades, they're going for strikeouts. And that is good to see. And you never know. I mean, think about Matt Swanson. Very likely a big part of this bullpen going forward, looking very good. He came in a deadline deal for a rental, right? Was not considered much in that trade because of, it was the Paul DeYoung trade, right?
Yes.
I think it was. So it was like,
I think so. Yeah.
We can look it up, or we can wait till C70 tells us that we're wrong and the bird scored later on. But he's another success story so far of the Cardinals developing sort of middle of the pack reliever prospects. So I think it's a pretty good return again for 2 months of a good reliever. I don't think any of the returns that Mozeliak got are particularly bad. I know there's some criticism of the Helsley return from some corners, but you and I talked about it last week. I think anybody who is feels that way was just expecting an entirely different market for relief pitchers, and also what the Cardinals were looking for, which Jake talked about, which was like younger players with like lottery upside sort of thing.
Yeah, I think you have to be happy that you got. I guess what you have to assume is the Cardinals got at least 1 or 2 guys that they feel like the Mets or baseball at large are maybe underrating, and they're taking, like you said, it's a bit of a lottery ticket. But yeah, also you get I think a middle infielder, a guy with middle infield potential that has plus power. I'm fine with rolling the dice on that guy. And yeah, it's 2 months of a reliever who is having a bit of a down year. I bet, like we talked about this, if you would have put Helsley on the deadline last year this time, or before the season started last year, we're talking a much different return. We're talking about a prospect that would or a player that would affect our big league roster immediately, or a legitimate prospect that is unanimously considered a hit.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that people aren't sure about Jesus is, that's fine. There's players like that all the time. But again, I'll roll the dice on a power hitting infielder. Yeah,
and there's a reason he was one of 3 guys traded for Helsley. Like, high upside, very low floor, high risk, high reward type of guy. we'll see. Maybe a future utility, maybe a middle order the bat. Maybe he never makes it even close to the majors. We really don't know. But I guess welcome to the org, and that's kind of the fun part of the trade deadline is getting these new guys. So outside of that, I guess the only other big, like, not even a trade, but like roster permanent move that we saw. This is a bummer. Ben, I think he's both your father and your son, Lucan Baker, has been claimed off of waivers by the Dodgers, which just always feels bad when it's the Dodgers. I know they are not perfect. We all thought they were going to get Alex Reyes and he was going to all of a sudden be their closer, or like he was going to become dynamite again, and it didn't really work with that. They have as many misses as most other organizations do, but it always just feels bad. It's like whenever the Rays or the Dodgers do anything, you're like, fuck, like what did we, but yeah, the Dodgers, if there's anyone who seems smart enough to use him appropriately, they seem like a team that would do that. I don't know how they fit him into that roster. I mean, the lineup is what it is, but it won't surprise me at all to see them use him effectively. So that closes the book on a really compelling player who never really got his shot with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a pretty obvious path to him actually getting big league time. They have Esteury Ruiz and they acquired Alex Call. I think Alex Call is a really, really, really good outfielder and an okay hitter. And Esteury Ruiz is not really either of those things. He is, however, one of the fastest people ever. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lucan Baker comes up and finds a way into the onto the bench, being like a lefty masher. Obviously, their superstar hitter, or two of their best hitters, are lefties. I don't think that they're going to like pinch hit Lucan Baker for Shohei Ohtani, but it could balance their lineup a little bit. And the reason why I've always been like had such a crush on this guy is because even in his weird down year where he's being BABIP to death and things aren't going his way, he hits the ball really well. He has control of the strike zone. He is very good at those two things. And I do believe that if he gets an opportunity, he will start to hit well, especially if they're putting him in opportunities to be successful. We'll see. But I'm kind of happy that he's out of the organization, just so that hopefully somebody can use him a little bit better than we were. And but like I think it should be noted, even in 2025, like I said, he's had a terrible year in the minor leagues. He has still got one of the highest pull air percentages in the minors. He has a well above average walk rate. He has an above average hard hit rate, barrel rate, exit velocity, max exit velocity, slug, all of those numbers, even with his BABIP is 233, and just things aren't going his way. He's still showing those exciting numbers. So I'm always going to believe in him until he actually gets a runway in the major leagues, and then I might finally, relinquish my crush.
Yeah. Or as he crushes, the crush continues to grow. So it's a bummer, but I mean, the reality is at this point, we've talked about enough. The Cardinals were not going to play him. They clearly made that decision a while ago.
And when you get Blaze Jordan,
of course,
I mean, they're both righties. They're both first basemen. They both have good exit velocity numbers. They are very similar players. However, Blaze Jordan is 22 years old and Lucan Baker is 28 years old. I will say, even though I have a crush on Lucan Baker, I'm going to bet on Blaze Jordan over the next 3, 4, 5 years for him to outperform.
And
Lucan.
Blaze has been playing third, which gives more position flexibility. So yeah, there. I put this in the birds cord, but I'll say it here too. I wish the Cardinals moved with this decisive decision making, even like half or as third as fast as they just did with Lucan Baker. They got Blaze Jordan. They said Lucan Baker is no longer relevant for this team, he's gone. He's done, right? We just continue to just drag on with these redundant pieces, these players that don't make a lot of sense on the team. But not Luke and Baker. The moment Luke and Baker is redundant, he's gone. But whatever.
I would love to understand what's really going on. Is there something about him as a dude? Is it the profile? Is it something I'm missing? There feels like something we don't know about Luke and Baker. And maybe it's just he's big and kind of unathletic, and the Cardinals are shying away from it.
It's a tough profile to pull off, to be fair. Like the high walk, very low batting average, high power guys, it works, but there's not a lot of them that have exactly his profile. So
Kyle Schwarber might win an MVP this year.
We talk a lot about Kyle Schwarber in regards to Nolan Gorman as well, and he has ascended to a level that is higher than any of these guys.
It's very hard to do what Kyle Schwarber has ever done, let alone what
now
he's
doing
this year. I want to be clear.
250, 260. Like he's got his contact skills are out. He's doing everything. It drives me mad. He's also been directly responsible for me losing 2 or 3 fantasy baseball seasons because I never think he's going to keep it going, and he just keeps getting better. And he hit that ball really hard that one time in the playoffs in 2016, and it was
again they put that stupid glass case over or whatever.
Over Fuck those guys,
Cubs. Yeah, for real.
And now the Cubs might not win the division, so that's what that
would be dope. I would love that.
That's what they get. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Back off the edge, my friend.
And I guess the other big roster move this week is Nolan Arenado. Has succumbed to a shoulder injury right after the trade deadline.
Sure, me too, man.
Perfect timing.
Yeah. Ow. Ooh. I just got. Yeah, it started to bite there. Ouch.
Yeah, he's got Gormania in his right shoulder, and it's spreading. And so Arenado on the IL with a shoulder injury. Nolan Gorman reactivated, already has a dinger. We love it, don't we, folks?
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of is it all right, we're out of the season, you've been struggling all year, go take a couple weeks off sort of thing, we'll call it a shoulder injury. I mean, I know teams are not supposed to do that, and teams have.
Well, I'm sure his shoulder doesn't feel
great,
the best it's ever felt.
Yeah. But is it anything is it an actual injury? I mean, there is some evidence to say that he's had some sort of power sapping injury for quite a while now. He hasn't have a home run since June. So this could be real.
Right.
It could also just be go sit down for a little while. We want to get some we really didn't even want you on the team this year. Everyone knows that. So go take a break. We're going to get Gorman back, and we're going to let him play for a little while, and then we'll reassess in a couple weeks, or maybe someone else will get hurt and there's a need for him.
Yeah, I mean, and frankly, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure Nolan wants to play because he wants to play.
Sure.
But Nolan Arenado at bats are completely useless for the remainder of the season. So whether he plays or does not play is irrelevant to the team's success and future and what they should be focused on for the remainder of 2025. So obviously I don't want the guy to be injured because I don't want anybody to be injured. I don't really think he is injured. So I hope he gets well soon and all that stuff, but there's no point of him swinging a bat for the St. Louis Cardinals for the rest of the year, period.
Yeah.
I think.
And maybe that would, because I feel two different ways on it, because part of me is what the fuck are we doing? There's so many young guys on this team that we want to get at bats for. It's time to turn the page to 2026. So let's have Gorman or whatever. But the other side of that is that he's still here for 2 years. So is there I guess I don't think he can play his way back to like what even a half of what he used to be, right? Because that's what he's been trying to do for a year and a half now, is like play his way back to his former offensive competency.
Yeah.
But it also seems like if it's gonna happen, that's the path to it, not just like not playing baseball for a little while. But also, we haven't tried that, so maybe that's the right thing. I know you had talked earlier in the season about he needs more rest days. Maybe there's a belief that if he just like takes a month, in the middle of the season, he'll come back and have a strong September and maybe, set the stage for a good 2026. I don't know. Or is it just hopeless? I mean, the dude, it's been steady decline for years now. This is, bottom dropping out sort of stuff right now. Unless something changes, he's going to end his season with around 0.7 F/WAR, which is brutal from your $35 million supposed to be future Hall of Famer third baseman. But I don't know what else you do,
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of thoughts on that. Like, they talk about like the reason that players come back from Tommy John surgery throwing harder isn't because they have a new magical ligament in their arm. It's because they probably have never had a full year off of baseball and their whole body just gets healthier and stronger from regular lifting and all that stuff. So I don't know, maybe there would be a benefit to Nolan taking a couple of months off, having an extra long off season, getting as healthy as possible. Maybe there is something going on with the shoulder. Maybe that all leads to a more successful and fully healthy Nolan Arenado in 2026. I am of the belief that, clearly his eye is still there. He can still square up a baseball. He still makes good contact, by which I mean he doesn't whiff or strike out a lot. But he just doesn't hit the ball at the right angle, and he doesn't hit the ball hard enough. I think those are things that he could fix. I think he is a good enough player that he could fix those things. And if I was him, or if I was his hitting coach, I would, and I think I've said something to this degree before, I would sell out for power. I would fully sell out for power when you have less than 2 strikes. Get your A swing going every time, because actually, like, he's been criticized for his swing speed, but his fastest swings of the year are in the high 70s, which is that's effective.
That's an elite swing speed, but he doesn't do it consistently, right?
So, and that's why I'm saying if we just need to get into fully A swing mode, and if he can get his launch angle out from it's just too high right now. He's popping balls up too often. If he could make those adjustments, which I think he's capable of doing, because I do think he is one of the best players of his generation, then we do have a good player. I think it's just like it's this thing of like Matt Carpenter had to do it at some point. Albert Pujols had to do it at some point. It's having to realize that you cannot be successful the same way that you had been successful for Nolan, what 12, 13 years or whatever, and that your game has to change. It's like Adam Wainwright leaning on his curveball more or something like that. I think he could go make a real adjustment. He could change what his offensive profile looks like, and rather than only striking out, he's striking out only 10% of the time this year. What if he was striking out 20 to 25% of the time? He was getting off that A swing, and he was launching, balls at a much more respected rate. I really believe he could do that if he could change his whole mental approach at the plate.
Yeah, well, it really highlights, like you said, that his eye is still good. The fact that he only strikes out 10% of the time, like there's so many players that are...
It's the lowest in his career.
Yeah, there's so many players who are actively trying to reduce their strikeout rate, and they can't do it. Jordan Walker, although, hey, he's been pretty good for a little bit now, but
he has. He's hitting the ball.
Yeah, he's hitting it kind of hard too. No dingers, but we're getting a lot of doubles, and we're liking it. So, if he still has the eye to not strike out at 10 or to strike out at only 10% of the time, then you have to imagine that you could utilize that as a skill to do something different than what you've been trying to do. But I don't know. I'm sitting over here playing Sonic's Mean Bean Machine trying to find ways to get it into episodes, so what do I know? Let's
You just did it again though. Look at you. You've done it twice somehow.
What anything wow. Now is Wario.
Very cool. Very cool.
Is Wario the coolest Mario character?
Yoshi?
You think Yoshi's cooler than Wario?
I'd rather hang out with Yoshi than Wario.
Yeah, you won't get like big stinky clouded on. But Wario has a motorcycle.
Ooh. Yoshi doesn't need one. He basically is a motorcycle.
He is a motorcycle, but with legs. Is a horse like a motorcycle?
I think so.
Okay. Moving on. So I guess any other...
I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride. Wow. I'm wanted, dead or alive.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Okay.
All right, Hambone, there was we just traded our entire bullpen.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of moves made to restock. Can you run us through those?
The Cardinals have brought back up Andre Granillo, Roddery Munoz, and Ryan Fernandez, who had one hell of a appearance last night against the Tuesday night against the Doyers. Obviously replacing Matz, Helsley, and Maton. We've been talking about Granillo for a month or so, and I think that he is part of the Cardinals' bullpen future. Obviously, when that slider is looking the way it was looking on Tuesday night, by which I mean he has no idea where it's going and it's not really diving that much, he's going to get doinked around. Yeah. But I think that this guy's got the skills to pay the bills.
Wow.
So I think getting him in, every few days right now is a great idea. Letting him run wild and figuring out the bigs and bouncing back is great. Ryan Fernandez, they talked about in the broadcast Tuesday night. He's kind of found himself a little bit. Of course, he comes up against the Dodgers, faces the heart of the lineup, and doesn't look great. But there's a lot of sense in him being back up here and finding it, especially with the way that this season is going to unwind. And then Roddery Munoz. Dude's all arm, lots of talent there, but there's issues. Yeah. We don't know where it's going.
Well, I think it speaks to what we were saying before, in the Cardinals' ability to develop a bullpen. In that, like, all right, they just traded arguably their three best relievers, and now you've got JoJo Romero, Matt Swanson, Riley O'Brien, Granillo, Munoz, Fernandez. Like, there's obviously some downside, some risk there, but that still feels like a pretty good bullpen to me, especially if you think of bullpen in a winning game of Romero and Swanson. Oh, and Kyle Leahy. And we've had some ups and downs with Leahy this year, but like you could certainly do far worse than Kyle Leahy. So like these guys are not even necessarily coming in to take the spots of those three that we just traded. They're coming in to fill in the front part of the bullpen. The back end of the bullpen, still pretty good, which is pretty incredible. So I kind of echo your sentiment on these guys. I think it's like likelihood to be a key part of the bullpen next year kind of goes in that order. Granillo, Munoz, Fernandez. You may swap Fernandez and anywhere depending on, he's done it before, but it just feels like he's, kind of all over the place. But they all could be too.
I think you could realistically say that, let's say just going into 2026, it's probably, unless the Cardinals augment the roster, which they're probably going to do at some point, but looking at what we have right now, makes a lot of sense that JoJo Romero would be the closer. But I think you could legitimately say that Riley O'Brien, Gordon Graceffo, and Andre Granillo could at some point take that role.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Graceffo.
And it is highly likely that they get saves. I really like what Graceffo is doing. I really like what his stuff looks like out of the bullpen. We haven't seen him like really ascend in the bigs yet, but I mean the pitching package is is good. I think it's going to work out for him in the bullpen. I think he's going to do quite well there.
Well, we know the Cardinals received interest in JoJo Romero, or at least it was reported that they did. Maybe I'm really curious about what Bloom and co believe 2026 is going to be for this team. And I wonder if maybe they will do what Mo could not do and maybe ship out a very good reliever with a little bit more control instead of waiting until the very end. Considering this depth. Now, we still have 2 months of baseball to play. I imagine with the current state of the starting rotation and all that we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys over the next 2 months. So we will certainly get some answers. But if we end September with a very good bullpen, it might be Bloom goes out and reopens some of this trade deadline stuff and looks to move a Romero and get a legitimate return. At least that's what I would be doing. We talked about it. The Brewers have done that, and look at them. They're now back in first place. I know it's not just because of that, but they're a team that really maximizes value out of their bullpen. And so I don't know. We'll see. But I think that'll be something as we kind of talk about what to look for in this second half or these last 2 months. I'm really interested to see what the new bullpen shapes up to be. Because most of these guys we have forever. Like these guys, it's like 5 more years of control for almost everybody in the bullpen that we just mentioned.
Every single one except for JoJo Romero has a year or less of service time.
And then throw in that, maybe like Cardinals haven't done this for a little while, but it's standard at this point. Maybe Doyle comes in the bullpen too with his stuff. Like there's just so many guys that they can throw into this bullpen, let alone Maton was a $2 million spring training signing, So like, I don't know. It's
sign him again. Do that same thing over again.
I think he's going to get a little more than $2 million this year though.
He should have gotten more last year, but I definitely think that'll happen after this.
If the Rangers go on a run, not even necessarily like a World Series type run, but like make the playoffs and he's their closer, I wouldn't be surprised if they just extend him themselves. The Rangers spend money and they want to be a competitive team, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's a Ranger for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I was arguing for the Cardinals extending him if they weren't going to trade him. Why not? But I think we called him Spin Daddy or something like that. Obviously, he spins the baseball well. Yeah. That big strikeout he got last night to close out the Rangers game was on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball that was almost down the middle.
Yeah.
He is fun.
He's fun. I know you wanted to talk a little more. We always want to talk about this guy. Nolan Gorman is back. He's starting. He already has a dinger. He's back. What are you seeing in Gorman right now?
Well, yeah, I think, he came back once he got re-healthied. He came back in the minor leagues and popped a home run and had some nice at-bats. He immediately came up here and hit a home run. And I will just say, just purely eyeball test, Nate, he looks like stable and smooth and confident at the plate. Yeah. He just looks a little different. He looks a little more balanced. He looks like he's wants to be there, I guess. He doesn't want to jump into a trash can or something, mid at bat. Sure. But seeing him doink-a-dong is obviously a very good sign. That's his game. And then I think we should celebrate the fact that even with the start that he had and the health issues that he had, he has raised his season WRC plus over 100. So he's sitting at 104 right now. So him kind of coming back. Hopefully we have this remainder of the season to really get Gorman in there, I think, just every day. And hopefully we see that number continue to climb. But, this is the former top prospect.
Yeah.
It's just I'm going to kind of pull for this guy until it makes no sense. And I still think it makes sense.
Yeah, well, he's still young. He's exactly what the Cardinals need. And we've seen signs of it before. And this isn't really new, Hambone. Looking at it just real quickly, since June 27th, his expected WOBA has not been below 355.
Yeah.
That alone is a very good expected WOBA, but he's gotten all the way up to over 400 during that time as well, which if you're not familiar, if your expected WOBA is over 400, that is elite. We're talking Freddie Freeman type shit, peak for. So not that he's going to hit for that type of batting average, but you know what I mean? Like few guys carry an expected WOBA at that level. So he's done it, and we've seen it in years past as well. It's just always been, can he do it for an extended amount of time? He's been doing it since June, but there was also an injury right there in the middle of that. So, we'll see. But I agree with you from an eye test. He seems locked in. Yeah, I mean, they try to be fair to the Cardinals. That was the plan going into the season, was trade Nolan Arenado and play Nolan Gorman all year. So that was what they wanted to do. With the way he's playing right now and where we are in the standings, he should be playing every single day. There's just no reason not to. If you got to have Arenado, just be riding the bench. Maybe that's the right call when he comes back.
Would they do that? I mean, could they do that? Would Arenado allow that to happen?
I mean, that is such a.
I kind of think the answer is no.
I don't know. That's such a dugout politics sort of thing that I don't know. I mean, what's he gonna do? Especially like. So this is a topic probably for a later episode, but let's imagine we have a new manager, and he's come in, and he doesn't have the existing relationships, and he's never managed a good Nolan Arenado. Is he going to be worried about it?
Well, I think I kind of been saying, if we are going to switch managers at the end of this year or soon, I would like to get I'm not saying Buck Showalter, but a Buck Showalter, Terry Francona, sure. Bob Melvin type of guy that's been around the block more than once. I would love to totally zig when we have been zagging since Tony La Russa.
I know he has had health condition problems this year, but maybe Ron Washington's got another one in him. Let's bring him.
I believe he's signed up, Nate. I think he's still got a contract. So I don't even know if you can do that. But maybe any of those guys but Ron Washington.
Yeah. So I agree with you in general. It's the elder statesman kind of thing where like, I've been around before you were born. I was doing coke with Ricky Henderson or whatever, and you're like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I want that guy. I want the guy that was doing cocaine with Ricky Henderson. Whoever that might be.
Yeah, probably a lot of guys. If we wind it,
a lot of guys. That's a big pool. Yeah, good point. Yeah, maybe not that.
But yeah. So I guess to cap this, we're excited about Nolan Gorman, and we always have.
Where's Tom Pagnazzi?
Where is Tom Pagnazzi?
Where's Pags?
Give me someone like that. As like does that count? Does that fit what you're saying? Bob Melvin?
No, not
Tom
really.
Pagnazzi.
No, he's never managed before.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of an old Cardinal that wasn't Mike Matheny.
I
mean, honestly, it might be Yadier Molina or Albert Pujols because that conversation's been swirling around.
It has been.
We'll see.
Bloom, does Bloom care about that? Like you kind of don't.
People have said on background that Pujols is going to be a manager, whether it's for the Cardinals or not. I don't think it's a Cardinals throwback thing. I think he is going to be a manager.
Yeah, I kind of hope Bloom doesn't give a shit to some degree about like any of that. I appreciate the long-term respect for the Cardinal history and obviously we're a Cardinal podcast, and I appreciate the like respect and all that for the former players, and I'm right there with everyone. But like making managerial decisions based off of that sort of thing. Like I kind of hope Bloom can look at it at a higher level and not just be like, oh, he's one of our guys,
I mean, Mo hasn't really done that. Like Ali Marmol was not a name on the tip of anyone's tongue. True. Like,
well,
so
yeah,
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, he's been the wonderkind for since he was like 16 or whatever. Like everyone's been earmarking him as a manager since,
So people like you and me know who Ollie Marmol was before this happened, but like an average baseball fan had never heard of Ollie Marmol before his ascension.
Same with Schilt. You're right. You're right. All right. What else do you want to talk about Hambone before we get to the break?
Yeah, so obviously we're talking about the remainder of the season right now, and kind of how to best utilize your roster. Two things I think I'd like to see, and actually I could add three. I'll just add three because
why not?
We'll talk.
We're just having fun.
I mean, we're getting crazy here, Nate. Yeah. I had coffee this morning.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I think we should drop Garret Hampson.
Now you're fucking
off
crazy.
The roster. I think JJ Wetherholt should get a cup of coffee, and I think Quinn Matthews should come up for a spot start. Either just to give like a little 6-man rotation for a week or two, to give a Palante or a Liberatore or somebody young a day off, or to spare Miles from being blown up yet again. But I would like to see an appearance by Quinn Matthews, who, by the way, has put together a nice little run in AAA. Nothing amazing. He's not the best pitcher in the league right now, but he is looking effective and healthy. And, I mean, JJ is just hitting the absolute shit out of the ball. So why not? Why not give him a cup of coffee? Why not do to him what we did to Mason Wynn and Jordan Walker and others, and let them kind of get used to the clubhouse, get used to big league pitching, do all the things. And also maybe he'll just keep hitting. Maybe he'll just never really slow down. I think that's unlikely, but I'd like to see those three things happen here relatively quickly.
Yeah, agree. Garret Hampson should have never been on this team. What a silly decision that has not worked. I cannot believe that we've seen him as much as we have, except for when he pitched on his Cardinal debut. That was fun, and I liked that.
Sure. Yeah.
So
we loved it.
Get him out of there. Match his color bean to someone else, to another color bean, and make him disappear into the ether. And then
3 times.
JJ, from a fan excitement level, I couldn't agree more. I do wonder what that actually looks like. So I guess you're probably proposing Donnie in left, and JJ at second or something like that, with Walker in right, Scott in center, and Gorman at third, and then just
I think
Newt on the bench.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And maybe Newt's starting in center. Maybe Donnie's taking extra days off. I don't think that JJ really needs to even come up and start every day, although I do think that would be ideal.
Yeah, that's the
really
conventional
just think coming
wisdom.
up and getting his
right.
Sure, I just think coming up and getting his feet wet in the big leagues makes a lot of sense. I mean, he has it's very limited playing time, of course, but he has a 177 WRC plus in AAA right now. He's gotten his WRC plus in A ball was 140, in AA it was 152, and now in AAA again in a brief stint is 177.
Yeah, he good.
Maybe he'll finally slow down once he hits the big leagues. I want to see him hit a speed bump or something.
Yeah, well, I kind of said similar with McGreevy when it didn't make any sense to me that they were going to prioritize several of the starters they did over him for so long, when all he had done is be successful at every single level, including the major league level. So I tend to agree with you, but it would warrant the Cardinals making a solid decision about getting rid of a guy one way or another. And I just don't know that they're going to do that right now. And I'd be surprised if they're willing to start even the rookie eligibility clock for JJ if he's not going to be starting every single day. But personally, at this point, I'd be fine with them putting a Newt on the bench and prioritizing a JJ, or maybe even a Victor Scott. We know he's good at defense and all that, but maybe he could start having a few more days off too. Just it's his first full season, right? And Quinn Matthews, yeah, I'm a little torn on that one too, just because I think you'd like to see some more consistent success at AAA before you call him up. But also, fuck it, why not? What's it? If it could be a start against like the Pirates or whatever, like why not?
I mean,
yeah,
we're at the point where he basically has to start on the big league roster next year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there are other ways around it, but it doesn't seem like we're headed that direction. So why not get him up here?
Yeah, I'd be unless the Cardinals like the front office has said the DeWitts are ready and willing to spend again when it makes sense. And
well, yeah, me too.
Right. I suspect that unless these last 2 months are surprisingly very good, there won't be a justification for it to make sense for a major acquisition this offseason. And so the rotation is going to be exclusively players on the team right now, maybe a trade or maybe there's probably some 38-year-old somewhere that's about to be on the market.
I was going to say, who's a free agent?
Well, we have. Are you going to say Miles Michaelis?
I was going to say Steven Matz.
Steven Matz, nice. Well, because have you seen? Like, we haven't talked about this either. There's all this stuff about Michaelis. Who apparently he he's been pitching in an effort to get an extension from the Cardinals. Like that, he wants to stay. He wants another year, and he is apparently been pitching in such a way and making decisions in such a way that prioritize him looking good in the moment and in an attempt to get an extension from the Cardinals.
Explain to me how you can try to look good in the moment
and
as opposed to just pitching your best every time.
I think it's like a longevity thing too. Like, he's not throwing with as much heat. He doesn't want to get hurt, that sort of thing is the way I understood it.
That's funny because if I was coaching, if I was Miles Michaelis, or if I was coaching, I would be like, you should be throwing as hard as you possibly. You should be getting everything out of you that you possibly can. I think the odds of Chaim Bloom extending Miles Michaelis are negative 100. There is absolutely no way, unless the Cardinals, horrible things happen. If Quinn Matthews gets hurt and a bunch of other people get hurt, McGreevy gets hurt, and also the DeWitts say they cannot spend any money, that is the only scenario I could possibly think of where maybe Miles Michaelis is brought back, because we do know he can start.
He can stand on that mound and he can throw a ball for 6 innings. Now, results, that if that doesn't matter to you, he can do that job. He knows where the bathrooms are.
He knows where the bathrooms are. He has a 2nd percentile whiff rate. He has a 9th percentile K rate, a 4 percentile barrel rate. He has 11th expected ERA. I mean, he is one of the worst pitchers in baseball.
I think you got to extend the man.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a cowboy attitude, which is good.
Cowabunga.
I don't think anybody else on this team has cowboy
Cowabunga, my dude. I will, though, to sort of back up what you're saying, I do hope the Cardinals have some exciting moves up their sleeves, right? Is it bring up JJ Wetherholt? Is it bring up Quinn Matthews? Something like that. We need something more to root for in these last couple months above and beyond, is Nolan Gorman going to do it the rest of the season? Is Victor Scott going to end strong? Will Alec Burleson keep up his walk rate? There's little things that I think are worth watching, and we're going to watch it because that's what we do. But I would love to see just a little glimpse of what the future might hold from some of these guys. So we'll see, I guess.
That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, we are going to talk about the other trades that happen. We're going to talk about the upcoming series, and we're going to play a little game. But before we do, we want to remind our listeners that this show is supported by listeners just like you who've made it through this far into the season and you're still listening. We appreciate you. And if you want to show your support for the show and the time and effort that goes into making it every single week, consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. Patrons of any level get access to our private Discord server. It's called the Bird Scored. Tweet, shout out to our members of the Bird Scored. We're having a good time in there. Talking about going to Cooperstown to see Yachty and Pujols get inducted. Just a lot of good people in there having good baseball conversation that I recommend you join. And also, if you sign up, you get access to early episodes. There's like free shirts and stuff. Just check it out, talkingaboutbirds.com or patreon.com/talkingaboutbirds. We also appreciate anyone and everyone that leaves a review of their favorite podcast platform. And of course, tell your friends. Hambone, where else can they find all of our links and everything?
Yes, we are on all the socials. We are on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. Of course, you can listen to this show on Spotify if you prefer to. You can watch this show on YouTube if you want to watch us. For some reason, it's available. Go check us out there. You can find all the links to the podcast. You could find shirts. Yes, we have shirts at talkingaboutbirds.com. You can email us directly to talkaboutbirds@gmail.com, and you could call us at 848-48-BIRDS. That's 848-482-4737.
848-48-BIRDS. All right, Hambone, there's a series coming up that if the Cardinals were, in it, this might be interesting, but otherwise they got a chance to maybe play spoiler a little bit, as the Cubs are now in a heated battle for the NL Central. The Cubs come to St. Louis for 3 against the Cardinals. Cubs still good. It's just the Brewers have been really, really good. So, despite the fact that they are not in the place in the standings that they wanted to be, this doesn't mean they're any less effective. I mean, Kyle Tucker has been a little less. He came out of the gates looking like the MVP of the season. He's cooled off a little bit. So there's a few guys that are not doing as well as they were, but also Matt Shaw is hitting now. Seiya Suzuki continues to hit. Like, it's still a pretty good team. What are you expecting out of this series?
Yeah, it's still a pretty good team. I've been saying this for a while. I think that PCA's crazy swing at everything player swing or just at bat profile isn't going to work forever. He has had a bit of a rough slide as of recent, just kind of striking out a lot, but obviously that defense isn't going to slump, so he's still a very positive player. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, we know this team, an adjustment they did make. I kind of thought that I thought we were going to see more from the trading deadline with the Cubbies. I really thought they were going to go get a real pitcher to kind of help them out with how good their offense has been. But they went and got Willie Castro, who was part of the Twins fire sale, and he is a switch hitting infielder, outfielder, utility man. It looks like he'll be starting over Matt Shaw, at least for now. But yeah, outside of that, we know this team. They are not hitting particularly well in this moment. They are pitching decently in this moment. But I would say the real headline is like, what are you guys thinking over there? Why would you not push the chips in a little bit more when your team has been so good?
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing too shocking going on with the Cubbies over there.
Well, Willie Castro so far has not started over Shaw, I think, in any of the games. So I think he's now their super utility guy and he's playing everywhere. But there was rumors that they were going to be one of the teams in on like Eugenio Suarez or something like that, one of these big bopping third basemen. But like the week of the trade deadline, Matt Shaw hit like 5 home runs. So I whether it's smart or not, like we'll see. But they might have just said, well, let's not risk it. Let's let him keep hitting. And then they didn't really do much. I mean, I think you and I talked about it 2 weeks ago. It's like they were upgrading the John Birdie slot on the line or in the roster, and they went from Birdie to Castro, which is a clear upgrade.
Birdie's still on the roster.
Well, then I don't know, but Castro's good.
They've also
Castro's good, but
he is. They also traded for Soroka, who got injured immediately. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that they got Andrew Kittredge also, which is probably a good pickup. We know him. I just thought they would have got like a Merrill Kelly would have made a lot of sense for the Cubbies, but they didn't do that. So I hope bad things happen to them, of course.
Well, and after that, Hambone, the real juggernaut, rolls into town. Your Colorado Rockies come to St. Louis. Are you coming in for the games?
I will not be coming in for the games, unfortunately, Nate. I'm very sorry to say that, but I will say, the Rockies are playing a little better than probably everybody outside of Denver, Colorado, and even some in Denver, Colorado think. Warming Bernable has been hitting the ball extremely hard. He is a young, slugging first baseman, and he could do good things with the baseball. Hunter Goodman is good, man. He's a good catcher. We have him. He's good.
Yeah.
Jordan Beck, also probably good. Maybe good.
Yeah.
He could be good. Mickey Moniak also has just been hitting home runs like he tends to do every other year or so for small amounts of time. Outside of that, this team is what it is. I kind of hate Adele Amador. I've watched him play too much. He might just not be ready for the big leagues. But outside of those guys I mentioned, there's not really anything exciting about this team. Something that was funny that snuck up on me. I did not know that the Rockies had Austin Nola as their backup catcher until I was in a game. I was at a game a couple of weeks ago, and I saw somebody who looked like Aaron Nola, but he was catching, and I put it together. I figured it out.
Wow, you're a real detective.
I mean, this team sucks. They're terrible. I have nothing else to say. But I will say, watch it, with the Cardinals. Watch Warming Bernable. I think there might be a bit of a guy here.
Yeah,
he is hitting the ball.
He does
hard.
seem pretty good. He's at a stellar debut. Here are some fun numbers for you, Hambone. Looking at roster resource, the starting pitching is 30th in ERA, 30th in WHIP, 30th in K per 9, 30th in hit per 9, and 29th in home runs per 9. The relief pitching is 29th in ERA, WHIP, walks per 9, K per 9, and hits per 9, and they are 28th in home runs per 9. There's some team out there or a collection of teams that are worse than them, but they are worst or second worst in basically every single pitching category in both starting and relief. It is incredible. They're also last in the league in hitting on base percentage and third to last in the league in runs. So it is quite remarkable just how bad this team is. But they might end up, like you said, they've been playing a little better. They might escape beating the White Sox. Well, how would you frame that? They might do better than the 2024 White Sox if they can keep this little heater going, which I guess is a pretty good goal for that team to have. And maybe the Cardinals will help them with that next weekend. I guess we'll see.
It would not surprise me if it is a depressing series for your St. Louis Cardinals. But they are still very, very bad. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk through. So we've been kind of talking about some of them already, but let's run through some of the major trades from this trade deadline, because you said it at the top. Outside of the Cardinals, it actually was a pretty exciting trade deadline for some teams. So let's run through those, and then we got a cool bit of news to go over as well.
Yeah, mostly we'll hit the big ones. I think the craziest one that happened was not only just what happened to the Twins, but the fact that Carlos Correa is back in an Astros uniform after popping over to the Twins for a couple of years. All of the craziness with his Swiss cheese ankle, everything that happened there, and he somehow ends up back on the Houston Astros. Is that a good move? I don't know. We'll see. But is it funny? Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, so apparently, the Astros checked in on Correa and pitched an offer, and the GM of the Twins, like, basically hung up on him. Like, they're like, what? That's stupid. No way. What a bad offer. And then the ownership group of the Twins talked to the GM and said, listen, it would really be good for us if we could move Correa's contract. They're trying to sell the team, and it's easier to move that without $300 million in debt to this guy. And so the GM was basically forced by his bosses to pick the phone back up, work on that initial Astros offer a little bit, but ultimately ship him back for basically nothing. It's one of the like, as a Twins fan, you've got to be pissed. I mean, maybe long run this will work out because that was a big deal for a guy with a messed up ankle, and we'll see how this all plays out. But this was a fire sale exclusively because the ownership group wants to cut debt. And the Twins have been a pretty good team off and on over the last few years. So you got to feel for the I saw some people saying it was the worst day in Twins history. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm sure it feels that way as a fan.
I mean, they got everything that wasn't nailed down, and even some things that were nailed down. I think it'd be pretty hard for me to come back. And at least, the good thing is, at the end of the day, the team is getting sold. So hopefully, you won't have to go through something like this for a long time. I do think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I mean, they are getting out from underneath a contract of a guy who has a Swiss cheese ankle, who's about to turn 31. It's hard to see him getting any better. That being said, I also if I look at this time next year and see that Carlos Correa is vying for the MVP as the Astros third baseman, that also wouldn't shock me. He's been a very, very good player in the past. He's been a very good player for a couple of years in Minnesota. Maybe he turns it right back around.
Yeah, this year mid, but last year 4.2 F4, and for he's probably not this guy, but borderline Hall of Fame pace if he has some good years with the Astros here. He's at 40 F4 basically right now. So, and he's 31. So, if he has another high end year or two, he starts to be in that conversation. So,
stay a little healthier at third base too. I wonder.
Yeah, maybe
we'll see.
That said, on that, the Twins, the Joan Duran trade was pretty good for them. I think they still have some guys. Sure. I think Zebby Matthews is going to be really good. So they've got some pieces still, but it's a huge fire sale.
Yeah, there are still baseball players in Minneapolis. That is for sure. The Rangers go out and trade for Merrill Kelly, which I think is a great trade for a team that's playing pretty well right now. They kind of went on a heater right before the trade deadline. They had a really dramatic win last night with Josh Young. I think this team is good. I don't think I'm really going out on a limb saying that, but they're a good team that's playing decently. They go out and get one of the better starting pitchers on the market. And it's a really good starting pitching rotation. I feel like nobody has talked about how good of a season Nathan Eovaldi has had.
Oh, yeah. Year. Yeah, and DeGrom, it's working. His maybe I don't throw 104 every single pitch. Maybe I throw 99 to a 101, and maybe I stay healthy and I help this team. He is now, it's a really interesting stat. He just set a landmark as the fastest player ever. I think it was to 1,800 strikeouts, but he's 35 years old. So it's
37.
37. So it's a confusing statement for he's a 37-year-old to be the fastest ever to that amount of strikeouts, but it's just simply
fewest innings.
Exactly. They're good, and you like to see a team going for it. I talked about it a little bit last week, but pretty shocked still that the Diamondbacks decided to throw in. But at the end of the day, I guess I've been so jaded by the Cardinals. I just like seeing teams make decisions and stick to them, So the Diamondbacks said we're done. They traded a bunch of their pieces, and
when you have the Dodgers and the Padres in your division, I think it makes that decision a little bit easier, especially after what the Padres did at the trade deadline. Yeah. So, anyways, Merrill Kelly joins that very stout starting rotation. And I just want to say it one more time, Nathan Eovaldi, 111 innings pitched with a 1.38 ERA. Not getting enough attention.
Yeah, the Rangers did
that,
something
in my
cool. I don't
opinion.
think we talked about it. We might have. He had like a performance bonus where if he made the All-Star game, he got like 100K. And he did not make the All-Star game, but the Rangers wanted to like show some respect for what he has done this year, and they gave him his All-Star bonus, despite not making the All-Star team. So kind of cool.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, he should have been an All-Star.
Absolutely.
Silly he wasn't. Let's talk about the Padres. They have acquired Mason Miller, J.P. Sears, Ryan O'Hearn, Ramon Laureano, Nestor Cortez, Freddie Fermin, and Will Wagner, all while not trading Dylan Cease or Robert Suarez.
I love the Padres, man. They
totally insane.
I wish AJ Preller was our GM. This is exactly how I would manage a team if I was a GM. In order to get this, among many guys, they traded Leodalis DeVries, the number 3 prospect in baseball, who many believe, he's like 19 and he's already the number 3 prospect. Many see him as a future, MVP level player, the type of guy that just never gets traded anymore. But like Preller and others have recognized over time, like a prospect is just a prospect. Mason Miller is one of the best pitchers in the MLB in MLB right now. Who knows what this 19-year-old kid's going to do? We can go and get one of the best pitchers in baseball who could still be stretched out because he has a lot of years of control. They may have a frontline starter in Mason Miller down the line. And JP Sears is no slouch either, is sort of a back end kind of guy. So I don't know if I make this trade myself exactly because I'm also pretty high on DeVries. But the Padres, I saw someone post somewhere. Why do the Padres always have the number 3 overall prospect? And that's how it feels like every year. There's some big deal that they're just shipping off some guy, and and here they are with a dynamic team, and they're moving all in again. They've been going all in every year for years now. And
they still have Ethan Salas, who a lot of people think is even better than DeVries.
Yeah, although some of his shine has worn off after a rough year, but he's still only like 18 or whatever. So I love it. I'm a huge fan of how the Padres operate, and I wish more teams went like this.
Yeah, I said it in the Bird Scored. I am a Padres fan for the rest of the year. That is the team that I'm pulling for, just because of their willingness to do things like this. And it's also like, look at their bullpen is Robert Suarez, Mason Miller, Jason Adams, Adrian Morejon, and Jeremiah Estrada. Yeah. Those guys would be the best relief pitcher on a good chunk of teams in baseball. They have them all. It seems like I want them to take off and just fly into the playoffs.
Yeah. Well,
for this remainder of the season.
When they make it to the playoffs, I think we're going to see like three inning starts from their starters, and then they're just going to go straight to the bullpen and just pound everyone with these guys. I mean, they had the reputation of the team. They were calling it they were the 4 horsemen. Jason Adams, Estrada, all of them, and now they go and get Mason Miller, who's better than all of them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, they're working their way towards my belief of how baseball is going to be in the future.
Yeah, you're very smart.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
The Mariners get the prize of the trading deadline. Eugenio Suarez comes back to Seattle and will be the starting third baseman. Seattle gets some thump, and they get a guy that can hit a home run in any ballpark, even if there is a little more gravity up there.
Yeah, he got one already for him. So
he did.
Yeah, I mean, we both like the Mariners, and their problem is they it's their ballpark and their offense is inconsistent. But now they got the dumper. They got Suarez. If you're not paying attention, Julio has been really every year now.
Yeah,
this is what he does. Second half heat up. He's got an over 1 OPS over the last couple of weeks. Like, they're a fun team. We'll see how it goes, but I like seeing them go for it too.
Yeah, it is funny that their corner infield is just what the Diamondbacks' corner infield was a couple of weeks ago, with getting Naylor earlier and Suarez later. But yeah, I love both of those moves. I hope that they play out well. I think that's very exciting. The Yankees acquired Camilo Duvall, David Bednar, and Jake Bird to augment their bullpen. The reason I really like this is because I don't know if you paid attention to this, Nate, but last week, the first game that those guys were acquired, they were suited up in uniforms. All three of them contributed to a losing performance by the Yankees. Each one of them entered the game and gave up a run, which is just poetry.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a Yankees hater per se, but it is just very funny and entertaining.
They have since demoted Jake Bird. Which is funny. My favorite thing about the Jake Bird trade, I'm trying to find his name right now. They traded Jake Bird for a guy whose first name is Rock, R-O-C, which is also it's a mythical bird.
You already did this, Nate.
Did I do that on the show? I think I did that.
You already did this.
It's the ultimate talking about birds trade. It's a bird for a bird.
You said that same thing.
Someone is listening for the first time, and they need to know. This is my favorite. Okay. This trade is brought to you by.
Take it again.
They traded Jake Bird for a guy named Rock, which is a mythical bird.
It's the ultimate talking about birds trade.
It's the ultimate. I'm going to put you in a mean bean machine. Leave me alone. It's good.
Okay, let's see. Yes. All right. A couple of non-trade things to talk about really quick. The Cubs are going to host the All-Star game in 2027, which is good. I think, love being at Wrigley. Maybe we'll go. Maybe the show will go. And if we're there, maybe we'll take you along with us.
I don't go to Cardinals, or I don't go to baseball games.
That is true. Have you been to one this year?
Yeah, I went to one with you, fool.
Is that the only one?
I went to the Bananas.
That doesn't count.
Well, you're so grumpy.
What?
Oh, I don't know if the Bananas are good or not.
So what's funny is I got an email this morning that I could purchase a standing room only ticket for the Bananas. They released some more standing room tickets at the 2 games in Denver. I archived that email. I didn't even go for it.
You're a damn fool. Go have fun for once in your life. I just like to watch the shitty Rockies.
I'm not sure who you're getting on that one, but it hurt my feelings. All right. The official number of tickets sold for the Speedway game, Nate, were you locked into the Speedway game?
I was generally aware of the Speedway game.
I kind of forgot about it until it happened.
Rain
delayed. Rain delayed. They sold 91,032 tickets. That is the record for most tickets ever sold to a regular season game. The record was previously set at 84,587 on September 12th, 1954. So while I don't care about NASCAR, I don't care about the Speedway game, it's kind of cool that almost 100,000 people went out to see a baseball game, even though it got rained out and everybody was disappointed.
Kind of the best case outcome, isn't it? I guess. I like... This is not the same as the things like the Rickwood game or whatever, but I like MLB putting the game in either historic situations or in other arenas and avenues. I was talking to someone from the UK the other day, and I was saying I'm a big baseball fan. And they said, is that the Cardinals? And it's like, yes, they only knew it. They were like, I think I remember when they played in London a couple years ago, And so that was a little bit of awareness of the sport and awareness of the team that they were not baseball fans at all. They didn't give a shit, but they knew who the Cardinals were because of this thing. Right. And that's like a step towards eventual, more people know about it and more fandom and whatnot. So I like this sort of thing. NASCAR, I also don't give a shit. I'm a little surprised. You like to drive cars in circles, so I thought maybe this would be your thing.
I actually turn left and right.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
slightly different. Yeah,
okay. Real. You're not a Zoolander. So It's cool. Funny that it got rained out. I don't know why that's funny. I guess I just have I don't care about NASCAR so much.
Yeah, enjoy things that are fun or whatever the hell you were trying to say to me earlier, dumbass. All right. Last piece of league news, Nathan, is that we are about to get our first female umpire in Major League Baseball. Her name is Jen Pawol.
Powell.
Pawol.
Pawol.
Pawol. Jen Pawol. Hopefully she'll help us pronounce that name. But she is scheduled to do 3 games this weekend, the Marlins-Braves series in Atlanta, including a doubleheader. Oh, I just read that part. That sucks. A doubleheader in Atlanta in the middle of the summer. Good luck to you. But it's happening. We're doing it.
Yeah, it's great. It's how I'll say how I always feel about these things, which is it's like took way too damn long, but I'm glad that it's happening. Like this is a very good thing. I can't wait to get mad at her, just like I get mad at everyone else, and hope to have her replaced by a robot soon. Women should be replaced by robots too, Hambone. So I'm very excited for Jen and the step that the league is taking. In this.
Balls and strikes that's not the only job they have.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, good for Pawol. And that is all the league news I have right now.
All right, Hambone. Well, the season is done for the St. Louis Cardinals. They're out of it. And now it's time for us to do what we've done in years past. I've got a game for you, Hambone. It's called Talking About Birds. Hambone, I've got a list of bird facts here in front of me. I'm gonna say a fact, and you've got to tell me what type. What am I trying to say? I've got a list of facts here. I'm gonna give you 4 answers. One of them is true. 3 of them are fake. You've got to tell me which one is true. Okay. This again is to satiate those who get mad at us that we are talking about birds and we never talk about birds.
Sure. Okay.
So,
I'm in.
Hambone, what allows owls to fly almost silently? Is it A, their hollow bones, B, their slow wing beats, C, their unique fringed feathers, or D, their ability to glide on thermal currents?
Wow. I have absolutely no idea. I think all birds have hollow bones, right? I'm going to go with your unique feathers. That sounds plausible to me.
That's right. The serrated edges of an owl's flight feathers break up turbulence, reducing sound and allowing near silent flight.
Wow. So we should put serrated wings on planes.
I think we do.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Which bird has the largest wingspan of any living bird? Is it the bald eagle, the Andean condor, the wandering albatross, or the marabou stork?
Wow. It should be the bald eagle, and all the other birds should be smaller. But I'm going to go with albatross.
Hambone, you're on a roll. You've gotten 2 in a row. With a wingspan up to 11 feet, the wandering albatross covers huge distances over the ocean with minimal effort. Wow.
That would be so dope. I would love to be an albatross.
Yeah. Same dog. Which bird is known for decorating its nest with colorful objects to attract a mate? Is it a robin, a bowerbird, a blue jay, or a starling?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were going to say the rockhopper penguin from Happy Feet, but I think they just gather stones. Starling. I have no idea. Straight up guess.
No, Hambone. Male bowerbirds collect colorful items like berries, plastic, or bottle caps to decorate their bowers and impress females.
Oh. Part of that's kind of sad.
Isn't that? I think this was your. This is how you got married. That wasn't a bunch of bottle caps and microplastics and stuff.
You're saying I collected a bunch of that and became married? Is that it? Yes.
Yeah, that's how you attracted your partner. Sticks
Yes.
and shiny pebbles and things like that.
Right.
There's another one in here that reminded me of you. I'll get to it here in a little bit.
Shiny stones was a part of it, I guess.
Which of these is true about the northern cardinal? Only males have yellow beaks. They are born without feathers and don't grow them until winter. Both males and females sing, or they migrate in large flocks to Central America.
Never seen a flock of cardinals. It would make sense to me that they could both sing. Why wouldn't one of them sing? Yellow beaks sounds right, but also they don't grow their feathers until winter. Never seen a cardinal without feathers. Maybe that happens. Do they have yellow beaks? I don't know. I'm going to say the thing that is not true is the feathers until they don't grow their feathers until winter. Hold on.
It's one of those is true.
Oh, one of them is true?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood. Shoot. I think they can both sing.
Unlike many songbirds, both male and female cardinals sing, often in coordination during mating season. Isn't that cute?
That's a rarity. I didn't know that. Huh. Okay. Wow. I was so ignorant about the topic that I was right. That was amazing.
All right, Hambone. What's unique about the way vultures cool themselves down? Is it,
oh God,
they pant like dogs? Is it B, they urinate on their legs? Is it C, they open their mouths and vibrate their throats? Or D, they take dust baths every hour?
I'm pretty sure they piss on their legs.
Hambone, this is the one that reminded me of you. Yes, they urinate down their legs in order to cool themselves down. Yeah, this behavior called urohydrosis helps cool the body through evaporation.
Wow. Cool.
Cool. Don't go camping with Hambone, y'all.
Okay.
Final one. What is special about the kakapoo, a parrot native to New Zealand? Is it it's the only parrot that migrates? Is it can mimic over 100 bird calls? Is it's nocturnal and can't fly? Or D, it sleeps standing on one foot underwater?
Underwater? Geez, I don't know. I don't think I know what a cockapoo is. I'm going to say that it can replicate over 150 different birds.
No, Hambone. The cockapoo is a rare, flightless, nocturnal parrot and one of the world's most endangered birds.
Oh, no. No wonder I've never seen one.
Can you really be called a bird and be flightless?
I don't want to start this bird racism thing that you got going on here.
I guess
I don't know,
that would
Nate.
be bird ableist, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't want to start this.
That's fair. You clearly just want this whole thing to be over.
Yes, I do.
Well, good news, Hamboon.
Hamboon.
That's gonna do it for this week's episode of Talking About Birds. Thank you again for everyone who made it. You got 3 of 6 right, so good for you.
All right, that feels fine.
If you want more bird facts, consider joining the Bird Scored, talkingaboutbirds.com for all of our links. We will be back next week. And again, thank you all. And until next week, go JJ Wetherholt getting called up.
Yeah, down with Garret Hampson. See ya.